All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I did have a very nice weekend, a little busy, but we are back and we have some updates. We're changing some things. We're trying some different things. I took the weekend to kind of reflect on what was going on and how the trading was going, and we're trying something different, something that I never really looked into because I was so used to just trading straight stock, whether it be the Nasdaq or the Qs or Tesla, that I never looked into anything other than that. So over the weekend, I looked into futures, and so we're gonna try trading futures and see how that does and see how my strategy works in futures. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. So I joined Top Step. I did purchase a 50K combine, they call it, challenge, whatever you want to call it. And so what looking at right now is actually the practice account in my account. This is not the actual um, combine or challenge, just because I want to be able to do some trades and kind of get used to um, the little nuances that are different in futures versus trading straight stocks or ETFs and whatnot. So we're gonna trade a couple days here, and I'll be live during all of this in our practice account, and then we will switch into the 50K challenge and go from there. So yeah, let's test that out. Let's see how it goes. You guys are here going along for the ride with me. And we'll be able to document everything. So this is, I did trade a little bit last night when the markets reopened. I just did a couple of, easy trades just to kind of get used to, buying and selling. It's this setup here. Top Step has their own software that they use. It's uh, internet based, and it's called Top Step X, and it's very similar to using TradingView. You can see that they use TradingView's charts and whatnot. A couple of differences, but it's very similar. But I've never traded futures before, so did a couple of practice trades last night, and the account is up a little bit. Um, and those, like I said, were just to buy and sell and close positions and set stop losses and take profits, just to kind of get the feel for the difference in using this software, if you will, instead of what I was using before. So it seems relatively very easy. It's completely customizable, so you can set up your screen and what you want on it, you know, exactly the way you want. It does support multiple windows, which is great. So now I can watch the 15-minute chart and the 1-minute chart at the same time, which is really, really nice. I like that. Instead of having to switch in between, I can watch candles close at the same time, which I personally um, very much like. And yeah, so we're gonna go for that. So welcome back. Thank you guys for watching. My apologies for not being on Friday, but I needed to take a few days to kind of step back and take a look at myself and see what was going on. Um, so we're gonna change some things, and one of that is trading futures. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, and if it's your first time here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you. If you watch my content and you haven't subscribed to my channel, which is about 88% of you, I'd ask a favor. Please subscribe to the channel. I want to be able to continue doing this and continue bringing content and making the content better. And I enjoy being here live so that I can document my entire journey for everyone to see out there. For someone who's going from nothing to becoming funded and profitable and then going full time as a day trader. All of that is being documented right here and for you guys to watch. So I would just ask that you guys subscribe to the channel. It's the only thing that I ask for. It's free, and I appreciate it, and we can help each other out. So thank you there. Don't forget to join the free Discord as well. Links in the description down below. Here we are, market open. We are looking at NQ, the NASDAQ futures, and a little bit of sideways trading throughout the evening here since market open. I took some of these down legs here last night, actually. This is where I took, I think, 2 or 3 trades here and did pretty well. Still kind of a downtrend here, as you can see, but a lot of sideways range trading. So we'll see what the New York session wants to do. So far, we're reaching a little lower, but give this a couple minutes here. The other reason why I want to start off with the practice account here is I've never really watched futures charts. So I want to see what the price action looks like. One thing that I understand from doing some research over the weekend is when you trade futures, everybody is trading across the world the same price action. Doesn't matter what broker you're using, doesn't matter what software you're using, which I never really knew or understood before. Looks like we're about to break lows here of the day, or we're just testing lows of the day here. Nope, we're breaking lows of the day, which is kind of an advantage if you think about it, because what you are seeing is what everybody else is seeing across the world as well, and whereas trading, stock and ETF or whatever, the price action is a little different depending on what broker you have, depending on what software you're using. Spreads are different. There's a lot of differences to where, 50% of the people trade, or 25% of the people trading are trading one chart, and 25% of the people are trading a chart that looks slightly different, and it could look bearish versus the other one looks bullish. So there's a lot of nuances that I wasn't really aware of. And so in doing some of my research over the weekend, I think that it's important. And I kind of understand now why a lot of people are moving to futures or trade futures, because it is the same across the board for everyone, which is nice. I'm getting some pretty good pushes to the downside here. I would imagine that we were going to continue to get some downside today, seeing how tomorrow, is it tomorrow? No, Wednesday is Liberation Day. So that's the day that reciprocal tariffs and other tariffs are supposed to go into effect. And we don't really know exactly what that's going to look like. And there's been some change in talk, whether they're going to be the same reciprocals across the board for everyone, or it's going to be more targeted, or, now there's been news over the weekend about, if this place does this, then we're going to go harder and whatever. So a ton of uncertainty going into this week of trading. So definitely have to be careful and mindful of that. We also have some data coming out this week as well. And actually, let me go take a look at this while the market is kind of figuring out what it's doing here. Let's open up our economic calendar here and see what we got in store for us this week. So today we actually have Chicago PMI at 10 o'clock. Goldman Sachs hikes probability of U.S. recession to 35%, and that's due to the tariff uncertainty. We just don't know what the impact. First of all, we don't know what tariffs are actually going to go into place, into effect, and then we don't know what the impact of those said unknown tariffs are going to have on the economy. Tomorrow, big numbers tomorrow. We have PMI. We have manufacturing PMI, um, JOLTS. So two big things tomorrow at 10 a.m. ISM manufacturing and then JOLTS as well. Wednesday, we have the big one here is the ADP non-farm employment change. Okay, that's the big one there for Wednesday. We also have some factory orders and durables and whatnot, but those are minor compared to the non-farm employment is the big one there. Thursday, we have S&P Global Services PMI, and we have non-manufacturing, ISM non-manufacturing PMI. Okay. And then Friday, all kinds of payroll data. We have non-farm payroll. We have manufacturing payrolls, government payrolls. We have our unemployment rate, which is going to be huge. We're expecting that to not change. It's currently sitting at 4.1%. We're looking for 4.1%. And then we also have Fed Chair Powell speaks somewhere. So lots of data this week. Huge concern over tariffs this week. Wednesday is when those tariffs are supposed to go into effect. And I would imagine that it's either going to be Tuesday night or Wednesday morning or at some point that they're going to make the announcement as to what those tariffs actually are going to be, who they're going to affect, how much they're going to be, whether they're going to be across the board or if they're going to be more targeted. Right here. Oops. So, what's nice too about Top Step here is if you do use their um, program here, Top Step X, there's no trading fees, which that's nice, right? All right, we had our nice big run here. You can see we had some decent volume with that. Volume's falling off a cliff here now as we're starting to consolidate a little bit here. Let's take a look at the bigger picture here real quick. Okay, so we're hitting a little support here, is what we're looking at right now. I think we have some more downside and probably be looking for these lows here. So we have pushed past this here already. Yep. I'd probably say we probably reached those other lows there before even 10 o'clock when our Chicago PMI comes out. We have this fair value gap here. Not completely convinced yet that we're going to continue to the downside here, although it kind of looks that way. But we got about 2.5 minutes for our 15-minute candle to close. So let's wait to see what happens there first. Can mark this out here. I got to change all my settings again. Bring this down. Bring this down. Okay. So we peaked inside of the fair value gap here. We are getting some buyers in this area here. So again, let's see how this 15-minute candle closes. We might get a pullback um, into our gap here before continuing back to the downside. So this 15-minute candle is going to close strong. We're still pushing, making lower lows here. Yeah, we're still dipping lower and lower here. So let's take a peek back over here real quick. Yeah, I think we're going to be making a run to these lows here. Let's put that on the chart just so that we can see it on the let's make it dashed. So still a pretty decent downside there still. All right. So we do also have this here. Let's see if we respect this here. If we do, then I don't see why we can't take a contract short. Oh, today's the last trading day of this month too. That's right. Yeah, it's pretty. That should have been the entry right there. So we peaked out the top of this fair value gap here, just barely. So right at this 19,000 level, this might be a difficult one to break. Okay, so we closed above this FVG here. So we might be making a move back up to the one above it here, which would be okay. Or we might be bouncing completely off of this 19,000 level here, too. We could be heading back up. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, we might be heading right back for highs of the day, maybe. Or we're just retesting these lows here. Could go either way. I mean, we look pretty bearish overall. I still think that we come back down to this, what is this, like 18.5 eventually. It doesn't mean today or whatever, but I think at some point this week, probably with the tariffs and everything looming overhead, I think we are headed right down for this 18.5-ish spot. So if we make it up into this fair value here, that'd be about a 50% retracement on our 15-minute opening candle here. Almost there. It'd be right at the bottom. So basically, these highs here, if we come up and retest those highs and look bearish coming off of that, we'll see. Last trading day of the month also. So we might not want to close at the lows. This is our 15-minute range, basically, is the lows of the day. And where do we open here, right? Here. So pretty big range from here to here. It wouldn't surprise me that we make it back up to the high of that range, the opening range. It wouldn't surprise me if we continue lower either. We're at this like 50-50 place, you know? It could go either way. Could go either way. I don't know if any of you have used Top Step before, but if you use their Top Step X here, they also give you, it's called the tilt. And from what I understand here, anybody using their program here and trading through them, it gives you percentages on longs and shorts for all of their users. And so right now on NQ, we're looking at 61% of the users are taking long positions and 39% are taking short positions. That flipped when we hit um, this low here. We were more 50-50 on the way down. We hit this low. Obviously, we got some long positions here, and we're now at a 60-40. Obviously, it's not something that you trade. You don't base your trades off of that, but it is kind of nice to get an idea of what everybody else is thinking. And that's only for the people using uh, Top Step X, I believe. I'm not sure if it's everybody that's in Top Step, because not everybody that uses Top Step uses their program here for trading. Um, they also use Trade Evade, and you can use TradingView and a couple of other things. So I'm not sure if that's just um, based off of Top Step X or if it's Top Step. I'm not sure, but regardless, it's a nice little tool, and we're actually starting to flip again now that we're coming into this fair value gap. It's a nice little tool just to um, get an idea of what everybody else is thinking. Hang on one second, I gotta let my cat in the room. Hang on. All right. Otherwise, she would have sat there crying at the door all day. Okay, so got a break here. We did leave a little fair value gap here. Getting some nice push to the upside here. We might actually be going back to highs of uh, New York session. Let's just mark this out so we have it. We'll call this out. Oops. All right. This one's also. Oh my goodness. And then we have our first bullish FVG. All right. Let's put this over here. I don't know, somewhere where it's not going to be in the way. Okay. So far, we're respecting this, and our percentages are starting to change. Can we put this over here? Let's just put that there. Okay, that's better. So right now, we're actually respecting both of these fair value gaps. Came up here, bullish push down. Okay, now we're disrespecting the bullish one. We might actually be able to use this as a reverse here. Let's see how this closes. It's kind of tough. I mean, this 15-minute candle is about to close also. At the close of this candle, actually. We came back and retested these lows here, basically, which were the previous lows of the day right here. And we got rejected from that. Not yet. Not yet. A little boost in volume here on this candle. All right, we peaked out here. This could be a nice V-shaped recovery here, which it does kind of look like that, right? We are making higher highs, higher lows here, making higher highs still here. Throw this up there too. Here's highs of market open. You guys can see that all right, right? We are getting some pushback here. So we're still pushing for higher highs here. So 61% are still in longs, 39% in shorts here. So, but again, now that's switching 54% to 46%. Again, that's just, we don't know what the rest of you know, the world is doing, right? That's just based off of Top Step. So, I wonder what the Fed rate monitor is looking like. Hey, tools. So for May, we're sitting at an 85.5% no cut. In June, we're actually pushing, we're up at 69.5% of a 0.25 cut, 25 basis point cut. So we're getting some movement, still a ton of uncertainty, and that's the issue, and that has been the issue for quite some time, right? Still having trouble closing outside of this fair value gap here. We might get our close here. Yep. All right. So at this point, we're definitely pushing to um, open market highs, open New York session highs here, I believe. I believe that's where we're going. Yep. So it could have taken a long position here, but quite honestly, it could have been a nice scalp up to these to the New York session highs. We could have taken profit there, but um, in my mind, a lot more downside than there is upside at this point. So not worth the the risk here. If we break out of this opening range, the top end of this opening range, then we can talk a different story. But you know, let's take these off of here. Just do that. There we go. That's better. So we can look at a clean chart here. Yeah. mark out this fair value gap. We actually just came right back to New York session open. We might be topping out here. Might be topping out here. So we'll see. Still could go either way, right? We need some confirmation. But I honestly, if we close below this fair value gap here, it might be a good time to take this down to lows of the day. But we'll see here. We'll see what happens here. Shall see. We have 2.5 minutes for our 15-minute candle to close, which looks pretty bullish, to be honest with you. But again, we're just testing New York session open, which is right here. Goldman Sachs talking about stagflation. They lowered their target on the S&P, higher recession risk. Last last minute here in this 15-minute candle. So this candle close here. We'll close our 15-minute as well. Still looks good to the upside, honestly. Yeah. So it would be too early to get into anything right now. Okay. Yeah, we still might be heading up here to test the highs of the open range here. We'll see. We definitely got some resistance here. A little bump in volume here with this candle. If we close below here, I think I might take one contract to the downside. We'll see. Bouncing there too. We have a little bearish one right here too, right on top of this. We can move that to there. This might give us a little bit more confirmation in what direction we're going to head here. Or not. Boy, did the long shorts changed quickly. We're now at 63% short. Just almost a complete reversal there, which I don't disagree with. I mean, I think that, you know, the overall sentiment is to the downside, but no, right after you left, basically, he woke up. But he hasn't like cried or anything. He's just been talking to himself. Hmm. Again, if we can push back up into this fair value gap here and respect it, it might give me um, more of a confirmation to take a short. This would be a nice place actually to go short. If we come into here and respect this, we'd almost be making like a little head and shoulders pattern too, but I don't trade off a pattern, so that would not be the deciding factor. The deciding factor would be overall sentiment and trading based off of the strategy. So let's see if we can get a pullback into this FVG. If not, then we'll try to wait for the next opportunity there. I'd like confirmation. If we peak above this, though, I'm not going to go short. Could see volume falling off a cliff also here. Well, volume slowed down pretty decently. Yeah, we might not even get that pullback. Yeah. I think we're going to get a breakout to the downside here. I'm going to take one contract to the downside. Oh, that's a limit. Switch this back over to market. Oh, man.
Order filled.
All right, let's see if we can start building some momentum back down to lows. Or not. The other thing I like here too is almost no slippage in your orders. All right, here we go. Gonna pop our stop loss just above this wick here. There's a button here on a trading panel, B/E. I'm assuming that's for break even. I don't know. We need to close down here, and we're not doing that. This might be a short little trade. There we go. There we go. That's better. Still getting some struggles here. It's not the quick fall that I wanted to see. I don't like this setup. This candle needs to push and close lower. All right, we're still okay for now. Beautiful. I am going to move to break even here just in case. Free trade. I don't care if it was too soon.
Order filled.
Okay, break even trade. No big deal. I see. There we go. Big spike in volume here on this candle. Do, 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 do. Oops. Was it? Ah. Well, isn't that nice? It's cool. You can journal your trades right here. I like that. All right, I'll have to check that out later. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see here. We can start to see our sideways trading pattern unfolding here. It's not bad. The trade the execution part of taking trades here is simple. It's very much like using TradingView. Um, so that's nice. Not really any learning curve there. The position sizing, a little bit of a learning curve because it's based off of contracts versus shares. Um, you know, so that's a little bit of a learning curve, especially when you're trying to figure out where your stop loss is going to be and how much you're risking, and that's part of the reason why we're doing the practice account here first. All right, so disrespecting this fair value gap here to the upside might actually be a good place to take a long here if we close. But we'll see what happens here. We also, so we're disrespecting the bearish fair value gap and leaving. Well, let's wait for this candle to close. We're starting to like barcode now, which makes sense. Okay. So bullish fair value gap here. See if we get a little pullback there before we continue. Oops. Here's what well, that doesn't help. So we came right up to the tops here again, retested, and now we're getting rejected again. So we're forming a double top here. We'll see. It's a pretty good respect there. Pretty good. My problem with taking a trade here, though, long, is we've gotten rejected twice off of these levels. It doesn't mean that we can't go past them, and if we do, it might be a nice breakout there, but do we want to take that risk? The upside here versus the downside is obviously not really comparable, right? Way more downside than you do upside here. We created a double top. So yeah, we are respecting this fair value gap here so far, but um, to place a trade somewhere here to go long versus trying to go short if we get that. So I think from here, honestly, if we want to go long, we need to see a break in these highs here. A break above the uh, high of the New York session would be even better. But we've come up here a couple times, rejected, good rejection here. We came back up, tested again, rejected. So not a good place to take a long. It's not to say that we can't go higher here. I'm just saying it's not a good place to go long. And honestly, now that we're kind of like range bound, it's not really any good places to go long or short in here. That's the truth of it. Could go either way. 50-50. Even though all the people using Top Step are 50-50 with this also. So this would be a place where I'm like, all right, let's see who wins, right? If we break above here, even better here, cool. Maybe we can look for long positions there. But we're kind of in this zone now. We are range trading. Um, so now we're in a position really where we're not able to do much at this point to be safe, right? You could take whatever kind of trade you want, but yeah, I mean, so even using this as like an inverse, where are we going? Back to here? Are we going back to lows of the day? You know, who knows? That's the thing. When you're range bound, anything can happen inside of this range here. And looking back on my data for my trades, anytime really I try to take trades within a range, um, most of the time it doesn't work out. So once we become range bound, it's kind of it. Yeah. It's also a pretty important psychological area here, right at 19,000 or just above 19,000. It's the last trading day of the month. Um, we might want to be above 19,000, even if it's slightly, to close the month out. That could just be where price, you know, where the agreement for price is across the board. Um, or we can push higher to close a little higher. I'm not sure that we make it below 19,000. If we do, then I think we definitely have some more room to run. But I think at this point you gotta have to wait for either a break above these highs here, and I would wait for this whole area to be broken, right? Or a break below the lows of the day here, which is also, you know, breaking past our 19,000 mark, which is right here, right? So you can see we came down, we grabbed some orders here, and we had a nice push back up, and now we're trading sideways. So I think that might be it for today, honestly, unless you come back for the afternoon session and see where we're at. But tomorrow's a new day. I took a break even trade. That's not bad. It's not bad. And, we go from there. Tomorrow is going to be interesting too. Again, we got a lot of data coming out this week on top of Liberation Day with the tariffs going into effect on Wednesday. So I'm sure as we get closer to that, we will start to have some more news and announcements as to what those tariffs might be or, who they're going to affect and whatnot. So it's going to be an interesting week for sure. Definitely have to be mindful that we might have some uh, volatility and um, some choppy movements in the market this week. And the big question is also uh, that everybody's talking about is will Wednesday bring clarity? That's a huge question. Will Liberation Day bring clarity as to what the tariffs are going to be and how much and who they're going to affect and all this? And there's a lot of uncertainty just in that question alone. Um, I'd say probably maybe a little more than half um, of the industry or people, whatever you want to call it, think that even Wednesday isn't going to bring clarity, and we'll just continue to have questions and uncertainty to into the future, and so we're not really going to get any headway as far as the outlook. But who knows? You know, Wednesday could come, and President Trump can say, "Oh, yeah, we're going to go real easy on tariffs," and then watch the market just soar. Who knows? Like you don't know. You have no idea. So all we can do is wait and watch, and I'll trade it in the practice account, so so that we maintain my challenge here. That's all right. It's a good idea to this is totally new for me. Um, Obviously, the price action and um, the strategy is the same, but um, there's a little bit of a learning curve as far as picking your sizing, your position size, and calculating your stop loss and whatnot, because it's a per contract thing versus a per share, which what the price of the share is. Uh, so for me, I just have to figure out the actual cost per contract and all that stuff. I'm still kind of figuring that out. So, but I like to learn. I've only been messing around with one contract at a time and trying to figure out um, stop loss and things like that. So, but this is pretty simple as far as, like I said, procedural wise, placing trades, closing trades, setting your stop loss and take profit is actually easier here than it is on the program that I was using before. Um, and it's much quicker. It's a lot more fluid, and you can set brackets also with each trade, you know. So pretty good so far. So far. Yeah, looks like we're heading back up to test these highs again. Based off of our 15-minute chart, we might actually push past them this time. We shall see. We're still sitting at like a 50-50, according to the tilt down here. This even gives you the average price of where longs and shorts are down here. So 191.42 is the average price, longs average price. Hmm. People are really hoping we're going to be breaking these highs here. 191.30 is the shorts average price. Yeah, interesting. I wonder if these candles here were misleading. It's a range, regardless of, this is a range, even a smaller one here. We came up again and got rejected again. Yeah. All right. I mean, for me, I'm not doing anything until we break out of the range here, one way or the other. So I think that's going to be it for me today. Um, Break even trade, not too bad. So far, I'm liking the switch here into futures. I did pretty well at the open last night. I took a couple of practice trades here, and you can see my account is up a little bit. The practice account that they give you here is a 150K account. I my challenge account is a 50K account, starting small, you know. So and I'm trading one contract at a time here to start off with, but get used to that in this practice account first, you know, let some of this sideways trading pan out over the next couple days, and then we'll get into um, the actual challenge. And the goal for the challenge is 3,000. That puts you into a, what do they call it? It's not an actual live account, but it's a payable account. I forget what they call it, but you pass the challenge essentially. You don't have live funds, but you get paid on your trade still. Uh, and then there's some rules that you have to follow in order to get your first payout. You have to have 5 days of green trades, non-consecutive, just 5 days of green trades, and then you can take your first payout um, up to 50%. And then once you hit 30 days of green trades, non-consecutive, you can take 100% of your payout. Uh, but your drawdown also changes from what I understand. Once you take your first payout, your drawdown now becomes whatever you leave in the account. So your fail point moves to zero essentially. So you want to leave a certain amount in your account to give you some wiggle room for some losing days, right? So they suggest that you only take 50% out, which makes sense. I mean, and then what happens, I guess, is you just continue to trade and you take your payouts and whatever. And if you're good enough down the road, you get shoulder tapped, I guess, where they'll contact you and say, "Hey, we want to give you an actual live account." Um, but from there, if you do get that, if you are good enough to get to that point, once you get an actual live account, then you have to start paying for your own real time data and stuff like that. Once you get into once you pass your combine challenge, um, you get into that other account that pays you, um, and there's no fees. There's no monthly fee. You pay a one-time activation fee, and you don't have to pay for any of the live data or anything while you're in that also, and you're still getting paid. So again, this is through Top Step, and I looked at a whole bunch of them, and Top Step seems to continue to come out at the top. They're a U.S. based company, so give them a shot. Give it a shot and see if we can't make some headway here. I went back and retested my uh, strategy also, and the strategy is still sound as long as I can stay out of my head and uh, stop trying to force trades. I think that's still kind of my issue. Um, and I was starting to deviate slightly from my strategy. And So I went back and did some back testing again, but this time, buckled down on the strategy itself, and it still comes out a very profitable strategy. So we're going to continue with that, but I'm going to buckle down with it. Um, you know, and it is what it is. I think part of it too is the impatience because of the volatility in the market. It hasn't really allowed for many opportunities based off of my strategy, and that's okay. I mean, the market is what it is right now, and I just have to be okay with that. And there might be days where I don't trade and it might be 2, 3 days in a row. Um, just have to be okay with that. And when the market is moving in a stable manner, whether it's up or down, the strategy plays out really, really nice. So I just have to be more patient and more disciplined in following my strategy and all the particulars. There's not many, and that's it. So we're gonna give that a shot, and we'll see what happens. So, all right, not a bad first day in trading. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Appreciate all of you. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I please just ask you a favor. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out a lot, which means I can turn around and then help out others. So if you would just hit that subscribe button for me, I really appreciate it. And then don't forget to join the free Discord. Also, link is in the description for that as well. So I'll see you guys in the Discord, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for another live session. And I'll be dropping a recap video on the first day of trading futures. So I'll see you guys all there. Have a good day and stay green.